All right, this is the first of the round 3 games that I'm casting here. We've got Tahn versus Macrosoft. Tahn, of course, the Zerg player. Macrosoft playing Protoss, and we're on Fracture. Fracture's a pretty standard map. It does have this slightly interesting feature that, you do have a ramp into your natural, but there's also a flat ground entrance. So generally, rather than the ramp wall off, most of the time you would kind of wall off this sort of area. That tends to be the case. Microsoft's gone for this worker down here, so it does look like he's going to go low ground wall. Against the Zerg, personally, I'd have the pylon in the wall rather than behind the wall, but that's personal preference. Now that we're in round 3, I'm really hoping to see some slightly less passive play from the Scrafters. Because up till now, an awful lot of the games have been like, let's kind of do nothing for 10 minutes or so. That's a gap, isn't it? Let's do nothing for 10 minutes or so and then A-click across the map. So I'm hoping to see, both players be a little bit more proactive in terms of getting out and about on the map, getting up in their opponent's face, doing a bit of damage, trying to engineer a position so that later in the game, when there is an engage, they're better placed. So not only more active scouting would be nice, also just more active harass, more kind of more active harass, more trying to get particular types of damage done, possibly economic damage done, or possibly coming in at the right time to snipe an upgrade, coming in at the right time to prevent something from happening. That'd be great. So Tahn's Overlord is going to come in, and he's going to see the low ground wall off. I don't think it was pull first. I think it was a pretty standard hatch gas pull. So he's not going to be looking to send a bunch of lings across this map. Oh no, it isn't the gap. That is like right up to the edge, isn't it? Yeah, my mistake. Okay, so this is a one unit gap here that Microsoft can pretty easily block with the precautionary zealot. No scouting from Microsoft, and I'm a little disappointed in that. I would very much like there to have been a worker across the map. One of the standard things that you'll see Protoss do all the time against Zerg is right at the start of the game you send a worker across the map and you just prevent the hatch from coming down. It's really, really irritating to play against. So all you've really got to do, there's assorted ways you can do it, but all you really need to do is just draw a little square and put the worker on patrol, wondering about this region, and it just means when the Zerg worker comes down to build that hatchery, it can't. And that gives the Zerg problems. They've then either got to send another worker, and even if they do send the other worker to kind of harass the probe, it's still difficult. You've got a micro, you've also lost another worker that should be mining when you're at the point where you really want to have 16 worker saturation. And even if you do that, it's still going to delay the hatch. So it's actually a pretty lit expo coming down from Microsoft. He's gone Sidecore first, and double get, and this shield battery, and 3 units all came out before this Nexus came down. And this Adept does not want to be out here on his own. And this is pretty careless. When you have the wall like this, you've got to make sure your Zealot in the wall is on hold position. If you do send the Adepts, I don't mind sending the Adepts out to have a little pop at these lings, but what you normally do is launch the shed back to here, then send the Adepts out, so that if they do get surrounded, the shed is already active. If they don't get surrounded, you can cancel the shed easily, but if they do get surrounded, it's already too late to send out the shed. So what you generally do is you send the shed first, you wander out with the Adepts, you fire off a few shots, you kill a couple of lings, and if they come in to surround, then your Adepts just blink back home and you've lost nothing. Now that he's got the... Where did the Observer go? Yeah. Now that he has got the Observer, he can he's got sight of this Overlord and he can chase it away. But Tahn knows the timing of this Nexus, so he knows it's a pretty lit Nexus. As a Zerg, that would be making me slightly nervous. seeing the Nexus come down that late, I would be suspicious that there's maybe going to be DTs, maybe going to be something turning up in my base. So I'd really like to see this Overlord come in on the suicide run and just get a full scout off of what is happening in the men. A late Nexus like that, never a bad idea to just upgrade Overlord speed. Upgrade Overlord speed so that you can then get that Overlord in nice and fast. The Observer's going to come across. Tahn would have to be paying pretty careful attention to this Overlord to have seen that drifting past. So unlikely he knows about it. But timing wise, 5.5 minutes. If you haven't seen any hallucinated oracles or any hallucinated phoenix come in to scout your base, you'd have to expect it's a robo play, and you'd have to expect something to be coming across this map. So Tahn, with the Overlord speed now, is going to get a good opportunity to come in here and have a perfect look around. Or is this in a position that he wants to Nidus? I don't think I saw a Nidus in production. No, it is just going to be a look around, and I like this a lot. This is what I'm talking about. This is the sort of play that needs to happen. At 6 minutes, you know for a fact your opponent's going to be on 2 base. That goes without saying. The Void Ray can still snipe this. He wants to activate the prismatic alignment because Overlords are armored, so you will shut that Overlord down that little bit more quickly, but it doesn't really matter. The Overlord had already been in this region, so it sees nothing new, but it does see that there's a Void Ray out. Worth noting, if you're playing against Protoss, that when you're scouting, if you look at the thingy-majig, the Stargate, you can tell what it's building by the shape of, you see an outline of it that we should see once this actually starts to build. So there you go. You can kind of see the silhouette of the Void Ray. So I think that is the only building that has that feature, where you can actually tell what it's building. Nothing else does. So when you're scouting, you can, even if there's no units out, no Void Rays come and snipe you, you can actually tell what's being built, whether it's an Oracle, Void Rays, Phoenix, or whatever. That can be useful. The other little Protoss scouting trick that you can do, if a Nexus is building a mothership, little sparkly lights float around the top of it. So that's the only other one that you can tell it's not building workers, it's actually building a mothership. You'd be pretty surprised if there was a mothership in production at the 7.5 minute mark, though. That would be a mistake. You'd probably be happy to see it. You'd be like, right, if you've invested that much in getting the mothership tech by 7.5 minutes, I'm just going to march across the map and kill you. Okay, Tahn, where's your 4th base? Because to be honest, this is a slightly strange arrangement that you've got. You're fully gassed, but not fully saturated. So, standard Zerg opener, hatch gas pool, and then you saturate, you get some lings out for map control, you build lings as you need them, maybe you drop Benling Nest if you're against another Zerg or a Terran, probably not so much against the Toss, maybe you drop the safety Roach Warren instead. You get your 3rd down, and then you saturate all 3 for mineral consumption before you worry about getting the gases up, and typically you would put the remaining gases up at the same time as dropping your 4th. So this feels gas intensive, and I'm not sure what we're going to see as a result of it, because there's only 3 hatcheries here to actually produce from, but we're coining in 2,000 minerals a minute. So the 4th does finally come down fairly late. Arguably Tahn's in a good position here to drop a 5th as well, and I would quite like to see it. Would really like to see better creep spread out of Tahn. 3 queens here, 4 queens, but this is very late to be connecting your 3rd with creep. By the 9 minute mark, really your half of the map should be pretty covered. This I like from Macrosoft, in addition to the Observer in the base here, keeping an eye on things, is just scouting with this hallucinated Phoenix, just to keep an eye on things. So really he needs to get in and see what the army composition is here for Tahn. And what it is mostly Hydra. It's a big army supply difference. So if these Hydras push in, there are 3 sentries here, so a lot of force fields available. So you wouldn't really doubt Macrosoft's ability to hold, but if Tahn bides his time and chooses his position, moves the fight around, he could definitely make something work here. It's such a big, especially now, 140 army supply to 60. Shield batteries in the recent patch have been slightly nerfed, so an overcharged battery now only runs at 150% rate. There is only one of them. The Nexus, does the Nexus have enough energy for the overcharge? I don't know, but these sentries are so tooled up, and there's only 3 Ravagers here. I say only 3, that's probably the right amount. Bear in mind the thingies, the lobby things, what are they called? I can never remember. Is Corrosive Bile, is that the one that Corruptors spit, or is that the one that Ravagers fire in the air? I can never remember which one's which. Anyway, the lobby thing that Ravagers do, that they chuck up in the air, that busts force fields. So that is good to know. When the Protoss force fields your army in half, you can, I think it is a Corrosive Bile, maybe not. Nah, maybe, yeah, don't know. That will bust the force fields. Now, production-wise here, I'm slightly concerned that Macrosoft just doesn't have enough production. We're only on 3 gateways here, 1 robo, 3 gateways, and the Stargate idle. Yeah, upgrades are coming, and that's great, but yeah, where's the production to back this up? So I think if Tahn comes in here and just trades army, the next attack will definitely be successful if this one isn't. There is a lot of Hydra here and no splash. So this many Immortals will tear through the roaches pretty brutally quickly, to be honest. Single roach is going to come up. Now's the time. Microsoft needs to force feed this. It has to happen quickly. There's no force feeds coming down just yet. He's tripled up the Guardian Shield, and you shouldn't. They don't stack. So 1 Guardian Shield, it makes no difference to your units whether they're inside 1 Guardian Shield or 2 or 3. Coming down the ramp here is a mistake. Look at the arc. You have to run from this. Why aren't you fighting within range of your own shield batteries? Force fields, please. I want to see force fields. Yeah, so there was a great opportunity there to just force field that army in half and kill half of it, and that's the only way that Microsoft can possibly win this fight. He's so drastically outnumbered, but the force fields could have been absolutely beautiful, because you just cut that army in half, and the top half of it is trying to fight you within range of 2 batteries. That's not going to work out for it, not with that many Immortals. Storm isn't even halfway done, so we are a long way from having splash damage. Tahn maxed out at 140, little bit light on workers, Tahn, not sure why that is. But nevertheless does have, well, it's the shortage of hatcheries is his problem. Here we are at 12 minutes with only 4 hatches, so he just can't spend the money fast enough. But he is at 200 supply, and with only 59 workers, that does mean this is a big army. Now Microsoft, if Tahn waits too long, there is going to be Storm available, and that just makes a big difference. But again, we have to see force fields here. If there's no force fields, this Zerg army just wins, and there are no force fields. There at last comes 1 force field, but where's the other one to absolutely push these units down the ramp? Yeah, no overcharge on the battery at this time. The Nexus is at full energy, so he absolutely, don't chase this. Yeah, that is a dubious position. These guys, these could die very quickly if Tahn isn't careful. He seems to be ignoring them. Still no expo from Tahn. I don't understand why not. You've got literally idle workers with this oversaturation. And you've got like 5 grand in the bank, so why not take 3 of these idle workers and just drop 3 hatcheries? And that just means you can click this in, and if it all dies, you'll have enough larvae to just hold down the button and absolutely shred out another 200 supply army in the space of 45 seconds. If you're not careful with this, you're going to give Microsoft an opportunity to come back in here. So still Void Rays coming out from a single Stargate, and I don't see the point. I don't see what it is they're adding. If you're going to commit to Sky Toss, well then there should be way more than 1 Stargate. And if you're not committing to Stargate, what is this lone Void Ray adding to your composition? Nothing. Nothing. Against Hydras, Void Rays are pretty awful, to be honest. Void Rays, of course, with the prismatic alignment can do bonus against armored. Hydras are not armored, so you know, quit wasting your money on that and start cranking out some stuff with splash damage. I would love to see a Colossus, because Sentry Colossus can be everything here. Well, okay, now that there's enough roaches out, that's no longer true. But, you know, if you're against a really Hydra-intensive composition, a handful of force fields and a couple of Colossus, and you'd be amazed at how quickly those will melt. Now, there are a lot of Immortals here. The Templars on their own. No, 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 no. The Storms go down, but they're on the wrong units. He needs more Storm. The Storms need to hit the Hydras. There needs to be an overcharge here. These Templars have to run. I don't know why Tahn didn't just focus on those Templars. Such a juicy soft target. You know, bear in mind, Templars so expensive, 150 gas apiece, and they melt instantly. Killing gas is so much more important than killing mineral. You know, ignore the Zealots. Focus on those Templars. Really squeeze your opponent in terms of the gas. So if you get a chance to snipe Templars, always, always, always do it. Macrosoft here, with this base up, needs to saturate these gases for that very same reason. He is trying to crank out things like Templars. Needs to rearrange his workers as well. So, you know, yeah, he's got 4 bases, but he's actually on a 2-base economy, because this is pretty much mined out. Tahn, meanwhile, you know, he's had all the time in the world. He's been across the map in his opponent's base this whole time. Hasn't occurred to him to drop another hatchery. These Zealots actually doing really well, because the Roaches are on a rally point command. So the Zealots are holding up the reinforcements. Where are the Storms? Where are the Storms, Macrosoft? Come on. There we go. At last some Storms come down, and they do clean this up. So you know, look at this for a reversal. Now Macrosoft at 90 against 58. There's Zealots in Tahn's base. He is in trouble here, and he really shouldn't be. He's had all the money in the world for all the time in the world, and like hasn't built 7 more bases. His Roaches are standing watching this. If the Hive goes down, he's in so much trouble. He needs to move the Queens. Please don't. You're kidding me. If these Zealots kill this Hive, you'd have to say Macrosoft has just gone favourite for this. There's more than enough Roach here to kill this. And what's in production for Tahn? Nothing. I don't understand what's happening. He's got 3 hatcheries, none of which are building any units. Look at the sheer number of larvae there were just parked about the place, doing absolutely nada zip. And where's the new lair, Tahn? Yeah, you're rebuilding the hatch, but you need a lair, you need a hive, you need these things. Yeah, so Tahn appears to have allowed this game to seriously slip away from him. That little Zealot run by that should have been so easy to deal with. He had the Roach numbers there to kill it all. I don't know, wasn't looking maybe. Could really do with a creep tumor here to keep those larvae alive, because he needs the larvae, because he's only got 3 hatches. 4, okay. Now Corruptor's coming out, the Greater Spire is done, so he's hoping to get some Broodlords in the mix. Macrosoft, emboldened by the success of that last Zealot run by, is lining up for another one, and why wouldn't you? They can come in here, no static D whatsoever, despite that huge mineral bank that he had for such a long time. And Macrosoft, you've got to say, has been hugely passive this whole game. You know, apart from that Zealot run by, has he been out of his own base? He hasn't. Like, he's been nowhere. The Observer knows about the Greater Spire, so Macrosoft should know that broods are coming. But where are the broods? There we go. That is enough. So, Tahn, why are you at home? You've got enough... You must know that the Void Ray numbers are incredibly low. Now, with that said, it's actually up to 6 now, but you know, you've got money, you've got the ability to build enough corruptors to easily deal with this. So stop building Roaches. We're 18 minutes in. Roaches are essentially worthless. You know, they're just late game Roaches. Anyway, Macrosoft is moving across the map. Let's take a quick look at the units tab. There are no Hydras, and that is going to be problematic. I don't know why there aren't Hydras. There needs to be some Hydras. This is not enough Corruptors, I don't think, to beat the Voids. What is in production for Tahn? No units in production. Look how many larvae there are idle. There's 33 larvae idle. There's 5,000, 2,000 in the bank. And for reasons best known to himself, Tahn is not building any units. 25 Roaches are coming out, but how are they going to kill these Void Rays? They're not. So Macrosoft has just had his ass handed to him. Tahn needs to get across the map, but he first needs to build the units that are going to deal with those. Hang on, what just happened? How did the Void Rays die? What is shooting the Void Rays? Queens? These Void Rays died to that Queen? Are you actually kidding me? That? Seriously? Seriously? You just lost 2 Void Rays to 1 Queen? Right, okay. So, look at this army supply, Tahn. Seriously. This... Why is this game not over? You know, there have been moments in this game where either player could have won this. Both players at times have had huge army advantages, and both players have failed to capitalise. Now, you would have thought after the last Zealot run in that Tahn would have went ahead and dropped a couple of spines. He's got $3,000 in the bank. It's not like he can't afford it. And that just prevents this from being a problem for you. Literally a spine in between the gas geysers is a great place for a spine, because it means the Zealots can't get surface area on it. And if you put 2 in there, it's a really good spot, trust me on that. So a couple of spines in this location, they just soak up, they just keep those Zealots busy for such a long time, gives you more than enough time to get your roaches there. Finally, there's some Hydras coming in, but Tahn, you know what I mean? You're doubling your opponent's army supply. You could be in his face killing him, and for reasons best known to himself, you're allowing him time to build back up. Tahn's still only, you know, this base, not actually mining, but like, why isn't this, we're 20 minutes deep, why haven't you got creep all over this map by now? I don't understand what I'm seeing. There's still only 56 workers for the Zerg, 71 for the Toss. Like, under what circumstances does a Protoss have more workers than a Zerg? This is crazy. This is nonsense, man. So Macrosoft now on, let's see, this is almost mined out. So there's a mining base, there's a mining base. Microsoft has achieved all of this and never really been beyond a 2-base economy. Not really. Like, yes, now that we look at the map, he's got 5 nexus, but he's only ever had 2 mining bases at any given time. Tahn, on the other hand, has, well, actually not really done that much better, but most of the time he's been on 3. As it stands right now, he's on 2, really, this one close to mined out. But look, this army is so big, and he's waited such a long time that the value of this, like, because, you know, a long time ago, the army supply for Tahn was pretty similar to what it is now. It hasn't changed that much, whereas Microsoft's has tripled. And you have to think to yourself, well, hang on, we've missed a huge opportunity there. Your army has stayed stationary because you're basically maxed out, while your opponent's has just tripled in size. If you're not attacking when you're maxed out, what is it that you're waiting for? You can't, you know, can't be more than maxed out. So sniping this Nexus is going to be a good thing. I would be inclined to snipe and run because the Broodlords are a mile away, but finally they're going to come in. And I don't know about this fight now that the other army is here, you do have to fight it. There aren't enough carriers here, and I feel like the Hydras are actually just going to be able to power through this. So Microsoft's army supply plummets pretty hard, as does Tahn's. But again, Tahn, in the production tab, I'm seeing nothing. 5,000 minerals, 1,700 gas, not a single unit in production. 58 larvae are available to you, you know? But with this base going down, this could be critical. Run at this point, damage has been done. These broods, you definitely don't want to lose them. Pull the queen, the queens aren't going to make it. And not to worry, but you do not want to lose these broods. So get them running home. But, you know, the bigger problem here is there were not Hydras in production that whole time. If there were, those Hydras are already underneath these broods, and you click for the win. But, you know, you stopped building stuff, and I don't know why. And as for Macrosoft, yeah, you're building 2 carriers, and that is really expensive, but that isn't really going to help you. You know, look at your minerals here have dropped so hard. This I do like, so he must have snuck those out when I wasn't looking at the production tab. And this is helping him. but I don't think that was a mining base. So it hasn't really dented the income, but it has dented the larva availability. Now with that, oh, he doesn't want to lose, don't want to trade hydras for zealots. No, run the hydras away, run them to the brood lords. Whoa. This has been a beautiful trade for Macrosoft. Swapping out zealots, gas-free units. Oh please, if he gets this hive again, that is absolutely huge. Why aren't there lings, Tahn? You know what I mean? You've only got 111 gas, but like, guess what? Ling's free. He is going to get this hive. You are kidding me. 251 health. So needs to get some queens over there and heal that up. The gaps in production are what's killing Tahn right now. In that previous engage, had he not stopped building stuff, had he built some hydras, he would have had the support for his broods to just push on in here and win essentially with ease. There's not so many carriers out that this is no longer a fight that he can really take. Yes, there are corruptors, but he's gonna need spellcasters, or he's gonna need absolutely perfect micro. Microsoft is coming, and this is gonna be tight. So the broods are throwing stuff down. Everything on the ground is going to die to these broods. There's no doubt about that. How's the micro isn't looking good at the minute. Tahn, your corruptors need to be shooting carriers, not interceptors. He has now sorted that out. You do have to keep clicking those carriers, and it looks like he has got it. He is going to bust this. The carriers, there's no escape for them. But the corruptors aren't shooting them though. They're shooting interceptors. Tahn, I don't know. Come on. The carriers are what you need to kill, not the stop shooting interceptors. Stop that immediately. These carriers are paperweights. If you don't attack now, you're not going to get a better opportunity. This is your opportunity to kill. Look at the difference in army supply. It's absolutely absurd. Templars can make a big difference to this. Corruptors do clump up and storms do hurt. But Tahn, there's no lings just up in this base slaying it, because those things are free, man. You build 2 lings for 50 minerals. You've got 2,000 minerals in the bank. You've got an income of over 1,000 minerals a minute. Just, quick maths, just how many lings could that be polluting this map? So again, the micro here for the corruptors, you have to be clicking on the carriers. You cannot be fighting interceptors, otherwise all of these corruptors will die. Not a single carrier has taken a shot in this engage. Finally, he focuses down one, but you need to babysit these. The corruptors have to be shooting carriers. That is the #1 rule of carrier engage, and it is Tahn that takes that first game. But my goodness, that could have gone either way. I feel slightly traumatized, and I am going to have to take a long break. GG.